Hello folks, welcome to Netcruzer RC. Today we're going to do a little bit of a gift guide for Traxxas owners. Now Traxxas themselves has put out this new gift guide page for holiday 2020, and this video is not just going to be about holiday gifting, it's just going to be about gifting for a Traxxas owner in general. If someone you know owns a Traxxas and you want to buy them a gift, I just have some ideas about products you might want to get for them that are maybe a little bit different than what Traxxas' own suggestion is. Certainly check out this page if you want to see their suggestions, but I'm going to go through some of mine first. The very first thing I would like to recommend to any Traxxas owner is the Traxxas Link Bluetooth module. Now this doesn't work with every single Traxxas radio out there, but it works with the TQI with the blue eye. Most of the mid to upper level Traxxas kits come with this TQI radio, which they call Traxxas Link Ready. And the back of the radio has this port on it, which is currently empty. It just has a block-off plate. So you buy this $40 Bluetooth Link module, allows you to run their app. And their app is quite powerful in that it has a lot of features in it. You can get things like a speed reading in a dashboard. You can do multi-modal memory. You can set your adjustments to what your knobs and dials do on the radio, as well as this is a very powerful tool for if you want to get into using multiple models off of the same radio. It's very good. I've been using it for years. About the only downside to doing this is that it does get a lot of updates over the years. As every new model that Traxxas comes out with, there's a firmware update associated with it. So usually if you're going to open the app and pair with your device to make a change, it might ask you to do an update. It works on iOS and Android, and I highly recommend this product if you're using the stock Traxxas TQI Link radio. In addition to that, one thing that a lot of people don't know is that this is actually a pretty powerful multi-model radio. It doesn't have a screen on it or anything, but that's why you're getting this Bluetooth Link module, so that your phone becomes the screen. Then you can add additional receivers, something like this one. I really like this one. This is the 6-channel TSM receiver. It's $47.99. It's model 6533. This is a 6-channel plus 2 accessory ports, and it has a expandability module linked to it. It's TQI with TSM, which means it has the gyro, the stability control program in it. That is a lot of features in a $50 receiver. For me, this is one of the value kings in the Traxxas ecosystem, is this receiver, where you could buy any other RC, you put this receiver into your RC, then suddenly you get TSM, TQI, you get to use the Bluetooth Link app. If you buy these two together, it gives you a really nice expandability portfolio to use your Traxxas radio, what you thought was just a basic ready-to-run radio, in many different models. So I do like that. As well as this setup where you're using the Traxxas Link Bluetooth module and pairing it with multiple cars, it actually works better than some high-end racing radios. And high-end racing radios, you have to go into the menu and specifically choose what model you're driving. On this one, it's smart enough to know, and it will automatically connect to the proper model just based off its RFID, signature of the receiver. It will know what your setup is for each car. So that's a great combo. These two things, an extra receiver and the Bluetooth Link module, that's an excellent gift package for someone who has the Traxxas radio system. Next thing is going to be a kind of a stocking stuffer product. It's aluminum shock caps, and on a lot of the Traxxas models you're just getting plastic shock caps that tend to pop off the ultra shocks quite easily, and the cheapest way to make those stronger and more reliable is to add aluminum shock caps. So you can get these in multiple colors. You can get them in red, blue, or green, and each one has a different part number, so you can look those up on the Traxxas site, or I will put links in the description for all of these products that I'm talking about today. And these aluminum shock caps are an upgrade part for all of the following models, which is a lot of them. So Slash 4x4, all variants. Bandit, all variants. Bigfoot, Stampede, all variants. The Ford Raptor, the Ford Fiesta, the HOSS, the Nitro Rustler, the Nitro Slash, the Rustler, all variants. The Slash all variants, and the Stampede, which we already talked about, and even going all the way back to something like a T-MAXX. T-MAXX is almost an 8-scale type car. It also has plastic shock caps. You can get them upgrade. It's the same part for all these products. Traxxas does share parts between a lot of models. So if you know someone who has a Slash or a Stampede or a Bandit or a Bigfoot or any of those cars, Rustler, certainly aluminum shock caps, great gift. If you happen to pop a shock cap before you do the upgrade and you lose your oil, Traxxas now has oils. This is a fairly new thing they just came out with this year. After all the years that they've had RCs, they never had their own oils that you could really tune with. Now they have actually tuning shock packages where you can buy the full kit of oils, or you can just buy the specific oils. So you can get all the way down from 20 weight all the way up to 80 weight. Stock in most of those models that we talked about previously in this list, I believe they almost all come with 30 weight out of the box. And you can tune and tweak this to your running conditions, your weather, and the type of driving you like to do. So check out the adjustable shock oil set. You can buy it even in this new gift pack with the carousel, part number 5038X. Or you can buy them individually. Then the other thing that's a bit of a weakness on some of these models is the axles. I've noticed that Traxxas has come out with some brand new extreme heavy-duty steel spline drive shafts that they launched as an accessory part for the HOSS 4x4. But these will work on a Rustler 4x4, a Stampede 4x4, a Slash 4x4. These to me look very similar to something like a MIP X-Duty or other high-end aftermarket drive shafts. Now Traxxas has their own. So certainly check this out. This one is more of an expensive gift, as this does tend to be a little bit of a pricey package, as you have to buy the front and the rear separately. And let me just click on the front. I think the pricing of these is $80 US each. Yes, it is. So that's $80 US for the front drive shafts and $80 US for the rear drive shafts. And it's an upgrade package for all these models: HOSS, Rustler, Slash, Stampede, all the 4x4 models. It's probably one of the better options now for quality. It's because I like that it has these pin retainers. One of the problems that I've ranted about in the past is that with the MIP ones, there's little pins everywhere and they tend to pop out and you lose them. And this one, it has a lot more captured parts. So I do like that. All right, the other thing that tends to wear out a lot on these models is something called the bearing carrier, which it sits in your slipper. It sits in your spur gear, and this is a plastic part by default. And when you run on 3S, it tends to get hot, it melts, and then everything gets loose and sloppy, and then you burn out a spur gear. So this is a very cheap upgrade part, $5 part, part number 6893X. Great little stocking stuffer if you're a Traxxas owner of any of these models, or want to gift it to a Traxxas owner of one of these models. Then, speaking of running and wearing things out, if something gets hot or has a problem or gets wet and gets seized and rusts out, bearing kits. You can buy a whole bearing kit. Some of these fast eddy bearing sets are very good. You can get a whole set of bearings that will replace every bearing in your truck for around $25. They have tons of kits. They have pre-made bearing kits for almost every Traxxas vehicle for various qualities. You can go all the way to something like a ceramic, top-of-the-line ceramic kit, which is $100+. That's kind of overkill for a Traxxas ready-to-run basher vehicle, but a lot of the ones are between $20 and $30 for a bearing kit. Looking through some of the new Traxxas parts that came out, because that new drive shaft was a new part, and I went and looked to see what else is new. They have this new light set, which looks really nice for the Rustler 4x4. It's a light set which works on the top roof skids and the rear, where it gives you a tail light as well. $50, looks pretty good, and I thought that was a pretty neat part. Model number 6795 is the new Traxxas Rustler lighting kit. It even comes with the light controller, which is pretty good. This is one of the cheaper lighting kits that you can get for Traxxas. It looks like it has just a simplified lighting controller, a pigtail so you can run off power, and then you get a new roof skid and new bumpers that have the LED lights included. So that's one of the more affordable LED lighting kits from Traxxas. You can get some LED lighting kits for some of the other vehicles like the XMAXX and the UDR, but they're all quite expensive. If you have someone that you know or yourself has a Rustler 4x4 and you want to get a nice official light kit for it, this is the one. All right, next thing is for the XMAXX owners or the MAXX owners. Unfortunately, the servo that comes in both of those fairly high-end bashing machines is a plastic geared servo, and it's a non-standard size servo. So this one is a gift for that type of an owner, where you can give them a new upgraded metal gear servo and Servo Saver. I have done this on my own personal XMAXX. It makes a huge difference. You get a stronger servo and you get a stronger spring, so that makes a big difference. Again, it is a little bit of a pricey upgrade at $120 US. There are some alternative ways that you can do this. You can buy an aftermarket adapter and then run in a normal size servo, but this one is more of a 5th scale size servo, but it has different type of connecting method into the chassis. So this is the easier way to do it, and you can find these on sale a little bit less than this if you keep an eye out for them. Then we're going to just look at Traxxas' own gift guide for stocking stuffers. One of the things that I do really agree with is the VXL3S cooling fan. This is a nice piece because it clicks onto their VXL3S ESC perfectly, and it has a little cable management adapter built in. So it's not the greatest fan in the world, but what's nice about it is that it's perfectly designed for that speed control, where you're not having to run a wire or anything in your receiver box, it just clicks on top. Then arms. You can certainly get new A-arms in different colors through Traxxas, although I would recommend taking a look at RPM products as well if you're interested in new plastic A-arms. Shock caps we already talked about. Bearing adapter. Hey, look at this, bearing adapter. They're suggesting a lot of things that I did. Oils, bearing adapter. Rustler body reinforcements. I'm not familiar with this one, but I am familiar with the XMAXX body reinforcements. So certainly take a look at this for $6. That's a great option. Hey, they have a TRX4 metal servo horn now. That's pretty good for $6. Oh, wheel nuts, certainly aluminum wheel nuts, 7mm wheel nuts. They do wear out over time, so getting a nice aluminum wheel nut with a nylock on the end is great. That's a nice little upgrade part. Slipper eliminator, what is this? This is new to me. Part number 8249 is a slipper eliminator. Oh, this is for the TRX4. This is for the crawlers, so it gets rid of any slip in your central drivetrain, and it basically locks it. So you have a fully locked drive system front and rear for $10. Hats and shirts, I don't really think you need to get that. Aluminum turnbuckles, aluminum steering bell cranks. For aluminum steering bell cranks, that's a fairly affordable part. Part number 3749A. Aluminum turnbuckles, if you have one of the lower end Traxxas machines that does not have adjustable turnbuckles, that's a good option. Part number 3741A. Aluminum stub axle carriers. I do not really agree with this one of going aluminum as the stub axle carriers. I would rather check out RPM. This is a very well-known upgrade part for Traxxas 4x4, two-wheel drive 4x4. They make them for both. And RPM plastics in general have a lot more nylon in them, so they tend to bend instead of snap and break. So take a look at that. RPM part number 80732 if you have a Slash 4x4, Rustler 4x4, or any of those 4x4 platforms. As well as RPM makes products for tons and tons of different Traxxas vehicles. So take a look at all of the RPM products if you're interested in stuff from them. All right, that was a quick overview of some gifting ideas that you might want to get for a Traxxas owner. Also, Traxxas does make tools now, but I would still recommend you go for maybe a different brand of tools instead, just for the price to performance ratio of the tips. And I do not recommend you get into their battery system because it is proprietary, where you have to run their chargers to charge their batteries. So I would stay away from that. But some of the other suggestions on this gift guide page are pretty good. All right, guys, that's about it. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button. If you're new around here, subscribe. If you want to talk to me, leave a comment down below. And as always, thanks for watching.